Brexit talks between the UK and EU have been blasted as anti-democratic by Marine Le Pen, who argued the bloc's strategy was questionable. The European Commission President, Ursula von der Leyen, has said a narrow path has opened up for the UK and EU to strike a post-Brexit trade deal. As the two sides continue crunch talks in Brussels before the transition period comes to an end on December 31, Ms. von der Leyen said she could not guarantee whether there will be a deal or not, but added, the path may be very narrow but it is there. It comes after talks were extended past a provisional deadline set for last Sunday, with both parties agreeing to go the extra mile. Negotiations remain stalled over the major stumbling blocks of fisheries, the so-called level playing field arrangements and state aid. British negotiators are pushing for a zonal approach in fisheries discussions, which would allow EU countries only a certain amount of fish from British waters every year. However, French President Emmanuel Macron was last week accused of souring talks at the 11th hour, with fresh demands over the EU's access to British fishing waters. Mr. Macron has vowed to protect French fishermen, who are expected to lose a significant part of their quota from January 1 as part of any Brexit trade deal. According to senior political sources, because Mr. Macron is facing domestic threats to his re-election, he would rather see the talks fail than agree to a deal that could tempt other EU states to leave the bloc. Europe's power to protect itself from major global rivals, pandemics, economic crises, migration and climate change will be a major electoral argument for Mr. Macron as he gears up for his 2022 re-election bid, most likely against National Rally leader Marine Le Pen, who he defeated in 2017. Ms. Le Pen's views on Europe and Brexit are in stark contrast with the ones of the French president. Last year, the Eurosceptic politician echoed the anger of many Brexiteers, suggesting the EU was to blame for the deadlock in the talks. At the time, the two sides were trying to strike a withdrawal agreement. She told the Anglo-American Press Association in Paris, "The European Union is determined to make the Brexit negotiations as painful as possible for Britain to stop other countries following suit. I find this anti-democratic and questionable as a strategy. The vote has been seen as a catastrophe by the EU, but I am for democracy and the vote must be respected."